I had just finished a long, tiring day and stopped at a small restaurant for a quiet dinner before heading home. I sat down, opened the menu, and then I heard a voice from the booth directly behind me, a voice I knew better than my own heartbeat. It was my son's wife, Sandra. She hadn't seen me. She was on the phone, laughing softly. And then she said the words that made my hands go cold around the menu. "Don't worry, the old man will be in a nursing home by Christmas. The house goes on the market in January. Kevin will sign anything I put in front of him." She was talking about me. About my house. And she had no idea that the old man was sitting 18 inches away, hearing every single word. I did not stand up. I did not make a scene. I ordered my dinner, I listened, and by the time she asked for her check, I already knew exactly what I was going to do. What I did next she never saw coming, and by the following week, Sandra had lost everything she had been planning to take. My name is Harold, and I am 65 years old. I drove a delivery truck for 31 years. My late wife passed away 6 years ago, and she left me 2 things: the house we built our whole life in, paid off down to the last brick, and a piece of advice I never forgot. She used to say, "Harold, when people think nobody important is listening, that's when they tell you the truth." My son Kevin is a good man with one weakness: he believes the people he loves. 4 years ago, he married Sandra. She was polished, sweet as syrup in company, always the first to call me dad, and the last to mean it. I noticed small things over the years. How her warmth switched on when Kevin entered the room and off when he left it. How she measured my house with her eyes every holiday: the garden, the high ceilings, the neighborhood everyone wants. How she had started saying things like, "This place is really too much for one person," while smiling at me over her coffee cup. But I am an old man who has seen enough of life to know when something is wrong. I don't argue with performances. I wait for evidence. The evidence found me on a Tuesday evening, in that restaurant booth. Sandra's voice, low and comfortable, talking to someone she clearly trusted. And piece by piece, over 20 minutes, she laid out the entire plan while I sat behind her, staring at a menu I never read. First, she would keep planting the idea that I was slipping. She laughed about it. Last month I hid his reading glasses twice and told Kevin he keeps losing things. He's already worried. My blood went cold. Those glasses. I had blamed myself for those glasses. Then she said the next part. The doctor appointment is step 2. You get one doctor to write early cognitive concerns, and suddenly everyone listens to the daughter-in-law who is just trying to help. And then the worst part, the part she was proudest of. Once he's in the home, Kevin gets power of attorney, and Kevin signs what I tell him to sign. That house is worth at least $900,000. By spring, we're rich, and everyone thanks me for taking such good care of Grandpa. She ordered dessert after that. I remember that detail. She planned to erase me from my own life, and then she ordered the cheesecake. Here is what I did not do. I did not spin around and shout. I did not call Kevin from the parking lot, shaking and angry, with nothing but my word against hers. I paid my bill quietly. I went home and I sat at my kitchen table with a cup of tea and thought about everything I had just heard. Then I picked up the phone and I started making calls. The first call was to my lawyer. Not just to protect myself, but to understand exactly what Sandra had already done and what could be done about it. He told me something I had not expected. The doctor she had mentioned, she had already made an appointment for me, without my knowledge, with a physician connected to a senior care facility that paid referral fees for new residents. My lawyer contacted the medical board that same week. What Sandra had been arranging was not just manipulation. It was fraud, the kind that has consequences. The second call was to my bank. I had Sandra's voice on my phone. I had recorded the conversation at the restaurant, and in my state, one-party consent meant that recording was completely legal. I played it for the bank's fraud department. They immediately flagged 3 recent attempts Sandra had made to gather information about my account's inquiries she had made while pretending to be helping me with paperwork. The bank froze her access to anything connected to my name and opened a formal investigation. The third call was to Kevin's employer. Not to hurt Kevin, but because what I found next made it necessary. When my lawyer dug deeper, we discovered Sandra had already forged my signature on a preliminary document, a power of attorney that had never been properly filed but existed in her possession, ready to be used the moment I was declared incompetent. That document went to the police. Forgery charges followed within days. At exactly 7:30 the next morning, Sandra's world began to collapse. By 9, the fraud investigation at the bank had expanded. By noon, the medical board had suspended the physician's referral arrangements pending review. By 3 in the afternoon, Sandra received a call from a detective asking her to come in for questioning. She called Kevin in a panic. Kevin called me. "Dad, what is happening?" I told him calmly to come over. And I sat him down and I played him the recording. Kevin listened to his wife's voice planning to put his father in a nursing home and sell his childhood home without saying a word to anyone. He listened to her laugh about hiding my glasses. He listened to the whole 20 minutes. When it finished, he sat very still for a long time. Then he said, quietly, "I didn't know." I believed him. I had always believed he didn't know. That was the only reason I had moved as carefully as I did, because I wanted my son to find out the truth the right way, from evidence, not from my anger. Sandra was charged with fraud and document forgery. The physician lost his referral arrangement permanently. The nursing home facility was investigated by the state for its referral practices. And Kevin, who is a good man, filed for divorce within the month, not because I asked him to, but because the woman on that recording was not someone he recognized or wanted to stay married to. My house is still mine. My accounts are untouched. My mind, as my own doctor confirmed with a full evaluation I arranged voluntarily, is sharper than most men 20 years younger. And the glasses Sandra hid? Kevin found them in a drawer in her home office, along with notes she had kept tracking my decline. Those notes became part of the evidence file. Months later, a neighbor asked me how I had stayed so calm through all of it. I told her the truth. Because the moment I heard that voice in the restaurant, I stopped being a victim and started being a witness. I didn't react. I documented. I didn't accuse. I recorded. I didn't beg to be believed. I let the evidence do the talking. Never underestimate the quiet old man in the next booth. He may be listening. He may be recording. And he may already be 3 steps ahead of everything you think you have planned,